All right, let's get started. This is the 12 steps to African American male development empowerment. And today we're going to deal with step number 1. And step number 1 is do not get crossed over by the illusion of success. Do not get crossed over by the illusion of success. And I call this my 2896 class. And the reason why I call it that, remember I said earlier in the previews that most African American males are usually at the front of class at lunch and recess in elementary school. And that is because most African American males are designed or have been programmed for sport and play. They've been programmed to be the next Kobe, the next Shaq, the next LeBron James. They've been programmed to be the next Terrell Owens. They've been programmed to be the next Denzel Washington, Will Smith. They've been programmed to be the next 50 Cent, next Jay-Z, the next J. Cole. Sport and play, entertainment. That's what they have been programmed to be since the day they were born, because most of their parents, unfortunately, see our children as hope out, because we're in a desperate situation half the time. So most of the parents, they're going to put in their children those skills that they believe are going to get them out of the current condition they're in and move forward as a success in society. So I tell them, and I use the word crossover because in basketball, you know, there's this move called the crossover. The crossover is when you fake one way and go another way. Don't get crossed over by the illusion of success, because the illusion that's been portrayed out here of success, most of our young men won't get. And let me break that down to you with my rule of 2896. 2896 is a formula that I have for black males. And it's usually I deal with it from a sports perspective, because so many of our black males, you ask them, I go to schools, what you want to be? I'm gonna be the next LeBron. What you gonna be? I'm gonna be the next Kobe. You know, what you gonna be? I'm gonna be the next Emmitt Smith. You know, I'm gonna be the next Nas Drax. I'm gonna be the next football player. I'm gonna hit the ball out the window, because sports is what consumes most of their activity. Unfortunately, for most of our males, when they reach 8th and 9th grade, there's what they call a cut list. So when they're participating in a particular sport from birth all the way to 8th grade, most people know if you don't make the varsity team or the junior varsity team when you get into the 8th, 9th grade, the chance of you going to college is slim to none in that sport. And so we forget the education component. So let me break it down to this, so the form of 2896. 22 NFL teams have a roster of 53 players per team. So if you take the 32 NFL teams times the 53 NFL players, that's 1,696 players that's in the NFL. That's what's on the current roster of the NFL. 1,696 players every year. Now, if you go to the NBA, there are 30 NBA teams, and they have 15 players on each team. General roster. Sometimes we go down to 12. Most of the time it's 15. That gives you 450. So in the NBA, at any given time, when the league opens, there's going to be 450 players that's getting paid. Now, when you go to Major League Baseball, there are 30 teams, and there's 25 players per team. So you take that 30 times the 25, that's 750 Major League Baseball players. That's it. So let's look at the 3 major sports. NFL, 1696, NBA 450, NBA, Major League Baseball 750. If you add those across, it comes to 2896. There's 2,896 in the 3 major sports players that are right now current, and that's why they have a draft. You're lucky to get in to be of that 2896. Now, here's some statistics that you might not be familiar with. There are 9.5 million doctors in the world. 10 to 15 million engineers worldwide. 1.5 million lawyers in the United States alone. 1.5 million lawyers in the United States alone. And guess what? Every one of those professions have openings in those professions. You don't have to be drafted in. All you have to do is go to school to get your education. So in the book that we have, No Covers Volume 1, The Black Males, we have a simple test that we take. And I take this test because I want people to understand how serious this is. And the test is to get rid of the false ideas of who you are. It's a male socialization test. So I want them to name 5 black male entertainers in the music business. Most of them can get that. Can you name 5 black male athletes in any sport? Most of my men can get that. Can you name me 5 black males who dropped out of school? Most of my men can get that. Now here's where it gets difficult. Can you name me 5 black male hustlers? They might can get that. Name me 5 black male preachers. Name me 5 black male lawyers or judges. Name me 5 black male doctors. Name me 5 black male engineers. Name me 5 black male teachers who taught you in school. Name me 5 black male members of the Congressional Male Black Caucus. Name me 5 black CEOs in Fortune 500 companies. Name me 5 black male world leaders. Name me 5 black scientists. Name me 5 black engineers. That's when it becomes difficult. The lesson to not getting crossed up by the illusion of success is that I understand, parents. I understand. And I understand mothers, and I understand you all that have men out there. We want them to be successful. Here's what happens. So we push them on. We want. See, America has set us up for failure. They've given us the success story. They forgot to give us the rock story of the garbage worker who was taking care of his family as a success. No. We have to make $1 million to see success. We got to make 2 million, 3 million, 4 million. We got to have a fancy home, the fancy cars. We got to be balling to be successful. Very few are going to reach that, and they don't tell you that truth. So what happens? The child is born. We see some little skill set that they have. They can dribble a ball, they can dance a little bit, they can rap a little bit, and we emphasize on that. We forget about education, because education is guaranteed success. If you educate and train a male, female child, that is guaranteed success. If you give them a full education from birth to high school and then on to college, it's guaranteed success in this society. But we don't give them that. What we do is we promote their little talent, their little skill. And what happens? They find out that they have to compete with other people who want to do the same thing. Other ball players they have to compete with. Other actors they have to compete with. Other comedians they have to compete with. Other rappers they have to compete with. And the sky is so small. The window is so small. The idea of opportunity is so small. However, we forget to give them the educational process. Because once they get the education, once they're trained in education, once they can answer these questions, they can relate to those scholars that came before them, and they want to be those scholars that came before them, success is guaranteed. Success is guaranteed. A master level student is guaranteed success. A PhD student is guaranteed success. And guess what? Education is free. You go 12 years of school, you get a good grade. You go to college, you get a good GPA, you go home. Don't get crossed over in the illusion that only success means that you got to be balling. Success is taking care of your family. Being able to be a provider for your family, being able to take care of the children that you bring into this world, that is success. And if you can't do that, then you're unsuccessful. But if you can do that, If you can provide for your family, if you can provide for your children, I wouldn't care if you did it in a Volkswagen, broke down, you're still successful because you're doing what God gave you the ability to do, and you're providing and making a contribution to society. And guess what? Just maybe the ones you want and ones you bring into the world that you ring might get that $1 million for you and come back and take care of you. This is your brother, No Covers. This is lesson 1. Don't get crossed over by the illusions of success. Don't stop. Keep running. Keep striving. But focus on education. Because education, to me, is the most valuable key to success. I've been blessed to send 3 of my children to the early college program here in Wilmington, North Carolina. I've been blessed to have other children come along with education. And I've been blessed to watch them grow and know that they have survived the traps of this world because they were educated properly. Not only did they get that education. In chapter 2, next lesson, we're going to talk about know thyself. They also got education on who they were and who they are, because that's the second key to this formula. But the first key is not for you to get crossed over by the illusions of success. Don't get crossed over thinking you're a failure because you're taking care of your family, that you don't have $1 million in your bank account. Don't get crossed over that you are not successful because you're able to bury your mother and father who didn't leave you with anything, but you're still able to move on and graduate and take care of your children and your family. Don't think you're not successful because you're not Jay-Z, or you're not J. Cole, or you're not Denzel Washington, or you're not this and that. Understand, they slipped through a crack that was open. And the crack was open because they want us to think everyone can get through the crack. Everyone can't get through that crack. Some of us got to be just regular folks. And regular folks are successful too. Regular folks are peaceful too. Take care of your family. Work with your children. Work with your mothers and fathers. Become a productive citizen in society. And that is success. Don't get crossed over by the illusion that they want to sell you. Peace and blessings. I'll see you next week or tomorrow or whenever you tune in again for lesson 2 on the 12 steps to African American male development and empowerment. Peace and blessings.
Screaming out free Randy. My driver's driving a Porsche when I was driving a Camry.